Every morning at exactly 8:40 a.m., the same woman sat on the wooden bench outside Courtroom 3. People noticed her, not because she was loud or demanding, but because she was still. While others paced nervously, whispered into phones, or argued with lawyers, she sat with her hands folded in her lap, eyes lowered, as if she were listening to something only she could hear. Her name was Jane Thompson. She wore the same gray coat every day, frayed at the cuffs, and carried a worn leather purse that had seen better years. Some assumed she was homeless. Others guessed she was waiting for a family member in trouble. No one bothered to ask. Inside Courtroom 3, Judge Robert Hale presided with the efficiency of a man who had seen everything and felt very little. 25 years on the bench had trained him to separate emotion from justice. Facts mattered. Stories didn't. At least, that's what he told himself. Until Jane. For 3 weeks straight, Judge Hale noticed her through the glass window in the courtroom door. She never entered. She never spoke. She simply waited until noon, then quietly stood and left. On the 21st day, curiosity finally pierced his carefully built indifference. During a short recess, Judge Hale stepped into the hallway. "You," he said, his voice firm but not unkind. "Ma'am." Jane looked up, startled, as if she hadn't expected to be seen. "Yes, sir," she replied softly. "You've been sitting here every day. Are you waiting for someone?" Jane hesitated. Then she nodded. "For you." The judge frowned. "For me?" She swallowed. "I don't need to go inside. I just wanted to be close." That answer unsettled him more than anger ever could. "Why?" he asked. Jane looked at the bench beneath her, then back at him. "Because this is where my son was last seen alive." The hallway suddenly felt too quiet. "My son Marcus," she continued. "He was 19, black, scared. He stood right there 3 years ago, waiting for his hearing. A minor charge, public defender, no family allowed inside." Judge Hale felt his throat tighten. "He never made it home," Jane said. "He took his life 2 weeks later." The judge's mind raced. He remembered the case now. Another file, another rushed decision in a crowded docket. Probation denied. Harsh words spoken about consequences and personal responsibility. Words he had said 1,000 times. "I come here," Jane said, "not for blame. I come because this is the last place he believed the system might be fair to him." Judge Hale said nothing. He couldn't. "Every day," she added, "I sit here and pray that the people inside remember they're dealing with someone's child." The bailiff announced the end of recess. "I'm sorry," Judge Hale finally said. It sounded small, insufficient. Jane offered a sad smile. "I know." She stood, gathered her purse, and walked away. That night, Judge Hale didn't sleep. He replayed his rulings, his tone, the moments he chose speed over listening. For the first time in decades, he opened old case files, not to review outcomes, but to read the names. The next morning, Jane was back on the bench. But this time, when Courtroom 3 opened, Judge Hale did something no one expected. He stepped into the hallway, pulled a chair beside her, and sat down. "I can't change the past," he said, "but I can change how I do my job today." Jane studied him carefully. "That's all I ever hoped for." From that day on, things changed. Judge Hale began asking defendants about their lives, not to excuse their mistakes, but to understand them. He slowed the proceedings. He listened. He remembered that justice without humanity was just another form of neglect. Word spread quietly through the courthouse. Courtroom 3 feels different now. Jane stopped coming after a while. Months passed. Then one afternoon, a young man stood before Judge Hale, nervous, shaking, 19 years old. Same age Marcus had been. Judge Hale leaned forward. "Son," he said gently, "before I decide anything, tell me, who's waiting for you outside?" The boy blinked. My mom, sir. Judge Hale nodded. Good. Let's make sure she gets to keep waiting for you. When the hearing ended, the boy walked free with resources, support, and hope. As the courtroom emptied, Judge Hale glanced at the hallway bench. For a moment, he imagined Jane sitting there, hands folded, eyes lowered. He whispered, "Thank you." Somewhere beyond the courthouse walls, kindness had finally found its way back into the system. One quiet bench, one grieving mother, and one changed heart at a time.